Jasmine leaned against the cool railing of the balcony, her eyes tracing the edge of the horizon where the sky kissed the ocean. The setting sun cast a golden sheen on her curls, and the breeze carried the soft scent of salt and memory. Behind her, Matt was quiet, but his presence was a comforting gravity. The filming had stopped for the day, the mics were off. No producers lurked in the shadows whispering suggestions. For the first time in a long time, it was just them, two people caught between reality and reality TV, between expectation and authenticity. I used to think love came with a finish line, Jasmine said finally, her voice barely louder than the wind. You run the race, you make it to marriage, you win. Matt didn't interrupt. He'd learned with Jasmine that silence was sometimes the safest container for vulnerability. She turned to face him, but every time I got close to that finish line, something shattered. Me, them, us, and then all I had left was labels and regrets. Matt walked to her slowly, hands in the pockets of his hoodie. So, what are you saying? She exhaled, unsure how to put years of heartbreak into something as simple as words. Marriage and commitment has always ruined everything in my life. Every relationship I've had that was supposed to be forever fell apart the moment we tried to make it official. Like the moment we label something, it breaks under the weight of that label. He studied her face. This wasn't another dramatic spiral. Not this time. This was her truth. And it wasn't coming from fear, it was coming from experience. Then what do you want? He asked gently. Jasmine's eyes didn't flinch. I want you, but not the ring, not the vows, not the contract, just you. Let's embrace being friends, best friends, soulmates, maybe. Let's have each other for a lifetime with no labels, no expectations, just care, support, and respect. Something that actually lasts. Matt didn't answer right away. He looked back out at the water, trying to find the right response in the rhythm of the waves. And in that moment, he remembered the first time they met. It was in Miami, filming for the new season. Jasmine had arrived late, suitcase dragging, attitude first. Matt had been early, seated on the edge of a hotel couch, sipping black coffee, watching her breeze through like a hurricane in heels. She was fire and confession. He was cool logic and patience. They had no business clicking, and yet, they did. Maybe it was the way she saw through the nonsense, cutting to the emotional core of every conversation, or the way he grounded her without trying to fix her. Whatever it was, it didn't make sense, but it felt real. As the cameras followed them through dinner fights, makeup kisses, and long talks under hotel sheets, the story began to write itself. But not the story fans expected. The producers wanted a proposal, maybe even a wedding on the finale. They wanted a big yes, not a quiet maybe. But Jasmine didn't fit the mold. She had been married before, twice. Each time, she entered the union with hope, only to exit with scars. The contracts were supposed to protect her. The rings were supposed to mean forever. Instead, they felt like cages. And Matt? He was different from her exes. Gentle, stable, emotionally fluent. He didn't try to dominate her flame. He simply stood nearby, ready with water when she needed it or space when she didn't. Still, even he had moments when he struggled to understand. So you don't believe in love? He had once asked during a confessional. I believe in love. She had snapped. I just don't believe in trying to force it into a box it was never meant to fit into. Now, on the balcony, her words sat between them like a challenge and an invitation. Jasmine, Matt finally said, are you saying you want to be with me but never get married? Never call it that? She nodded, not as a rebellion, but as a release. I want forever, she said, just not the kind that's signed on paper. I want the kind of forever that's shown every day in action, not promised in ceremony. He was quiet for a long time. You know, he said eventually, I always thought marriage was the ultimate goal, the final stage. But maybe it's not. Maybe what we have already is more real than what some couples have even after vows. Jasmine blinked, surprised. You're not mad? No, he said with a soft smile. I'm relieved, because I don't care about performing love for the world. I care about living it. With you. Their relationship took a turn after that night. Not a turn toward the altar, but toward something deeper. Without the pressure to prove or define, they found something more honest. They lived between homes, bouncing from Panama to California, and later to Portugal for a few months. No shared bank accounts, no legal bindings, just shared mornings, texts that said thinking of you, and long walks where they redefined commitment for themselves. Fans were divided. Some called it cowardice. Others said Jasmine was afraid of growing up. But those who really watched, who saw the way she looked at him, or the way he shielded her from media attacks, knew something else was happening. They were building something rare. Something not built on traditions or timelines or expectations, but on choice. Repeated, daily, freely given. Years passed. And then, on a quiet Tuesday morning in Lisbon, Matt woke up to the smell of coffee and the sound of Jasmine humming in the kitchen. No cameras, no scripts, just real life. He walked in, kissed her cheek, and sat down. "You know," he said casually, "we've been together almost 6 years." Jasmine nodded, handing him a mug. "Feels like forever, but also, like yesterday." He laughed. "Exactly." A pause. "Do you regret not getting married?" she asked, eyes searching his. "Not even for a second." He said, This is everything I wanted. Us, choosing each other, every day. No labels, no escape clauses, just this." She smiled, her heart full. "Me neither," she whispered. When people asked, "Are you guys still together?" they smiled and said, "Always. Not married, not divorced, just together." Not because they had to be, but because they wanted to be. In a world obsessed with definitions, Jasmine and Matt found freedom in undefined devotion, and in that space beyond labels, they created a love story that outlasted most marriages. Because sometimes the most radical kind of commitment is the one that doesn't need a contract to be real.